Hey, Sox fans. Welcome to Good Guys Talk Back, a local fan-centric Chicago White Sox podcast, hosted by Nick Murawski and Pat Hester.
Yeah! Hey, Sox fans! Welcome back to Good Guys Talk Back. I am Nick Murawski, and this is a fan-centric Chicago White Sox podcast, episode 315. We do this live on Sunday nights at 9:15 on the Good Guys Talk Back YouTube channel. Subscribe, pass it along, like the stream, all those fun things. If you're with us just audio, we do appreciate that so much as well. You can find the podcast everywhere you find your podcasts. Wow, a ton to get to, a ton of just personal things. Just want to give some shout outs before we get going. We got the big reunion weekend to talk about. The draft is going on. So much to get to with a team that's well over 30 games, under 500. With me, as always, my best friend, a diehard Sox fan, Pat Hester. Hello, sir.
Nick, good evening. Happy reunion weekend.
Yes.
Really festive weekend on the South Side. I'm sure we're going to break it down. You're out at the ballpark today, which is exciting. Yep. I'm excited to hear about your experience there. And the way I look at it, Nick, we're only 9 games away from eclipsing or tying last year's win total. I say we start, knocking that down. Looking forward to that. That's huge.
Yeah, that really puts things in perspective of how bad last year was.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, I was somewhat excited that you were 9 games away from eclipsing last year's record. So that's cool.
Yeah, how soon will that happen after the break? Maybe we can talk a little bit about that towards the end of this podcast. Before we say our goodbyes, we'll have some friendly bets about maybe what series.
We have so many bets, Nick. Do we have a ledger, or have you been keeping notes? Because I can't remember them all.
You know what? We used to be very diligent about our bets in spring training. We used to go kind of category by category and make predictions offensively and through pitching. And then we threw that out the window a couple of years ago. Mm-hmm. So we'll save it for Galena. I'll keep a ledger in Galena. Okay.
If only there was technology that was good enough for us to jot these things down and remember, what we said, but maybe someday we'll get to that point.
Yeah. Our Chicago White Sox, after 97 games, here we are at the All-Star break, the unofficial first half. Sox are 32-65. We'll go through some other numbers as we unpack this episode. First things first, Pat, I was at the ballpark here, and hello to Sydney and Sean and Matthew. Good to have you along. Sydney I think he was at the ballpark all weekend long. I mean, all the reunion festivities. Sydney doing a great job of blasting those pictures and posts out on social media. Some really good stuff. There was a lot going on. You wouldn't have known it by some of the attendance numbers. We'll get to that as well. Mm-hmm. But I'm out there at the ballpark with our very good friend, one of the best Gene Honda impersonations you'll ever hear. He is the voice at the beginning of this podcast. Welcome you, Eric Carlson. We've spoke of him many times on this podcast. He and I were at the game here on Sunday for this Four Horsemen bobblehead, and it was a pleasure hanging out with Eric for the day. Man, we had a blast just reminiscing about 2005 and where we were and how the season felt to us. Especially when Cleveland was nipping on our heels. We talked about, where we were at for almost every playoff game. Mm-hmm. Who did we watch it with? Did we attend any games? And I'd love to get some of your, some of your answers later on as we talk more about the reunion weekend. The merchandise and the memorabilia and all the stuff you just started to buy after they won. All those memories come flooding back, and they have been this season, Pat. But this weekend especially, seeing all those guys brought back on the field on Saturday, the statue, all that stuff, you just couldn't help, thinking about it. And it was awesome to take that trip down memory lane. And as I'm walking around the stadium, we got there early, of course, Pat. Here's the bobblehead, by the way.
Oh yes, please show.
This baby is something.
Ooh, look at you.
Oh,
now that's a bobbleheads. That's going to take precedent over some other bobbleheads. Where does that one get displayed, Nick?
Well, see, I've got
in a wedding photo that you have to take down somewhere, or
in my bobblehead area, I've kind of got the World Series bobbleheads in a certain area, so that one's going to go with the other World Series bobbleheads, the Jenks and the Dye and the Podsednik, and so that'll find that home over there. So I don't
know how you find time to work in the day with having to arrange bobbleheads.
Hey man, it's a labor of love. You gotta want it. You gotta want it, and I do. But I tell you, man, we're waiting in line, and guess who comes up and says hello?
Who's that?
The one and only Howard.
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 Really? That's fantastic.
Got to talk with Howard, and that was a real pleasure. Howard, I'm sure, is going to jump in after he's consuming some Future Sox draft content. Got to talk to Howard, and here, he's talk about a White Sox man cave. I mean, he's got quite the situation he was telling me about. So there are collectors. We're out there, man. Collectors are everywhere, and so good to see him. I mean, Matthew, Trevor, Josh. I had people. It was awesome meeting fans of the podcast, Pat.
Yeah,
I met so many great people today. Just walking around, seeing all the things that the stadium had going for the reunion weekend. As we made our way to the Burley statue, and then the trophy, World Series trophy, was out there in left field in the concourse. And so, hello to Matthew, Trevor, and Josh. Man. Great to talk with Josh. That was awesome that they have him come visit over in section 154, and met Josh's daughter, and saw Steve Peredzinski, our boy.
Oh,
Steve
wow.
From Sox on Tap. Got to chat with him. Tony on Tap was around. Got to chat him up, and the great Sean Anderson.
Wow.
From CHGO. It really was, Pat. I'm telling you. It was awesome. Not only just, a little wave, but really got a chance to talk to some of these folks and do a little bit of reminiscing what this weekend has meant to them, and all the excitements and everything. So that was definitely, a joy. But Pat, at the end of the day, Sox lose 3 of 4 to the Cleveland Guardians, my friend. That's when you boil it all down, Sox lost 3 of 4. In this reunion weekend series, I guess.
And they lost today by a run, and they lost by 4 the other day. I can't remember what it was in the first game of the doubleheader. It doesn't really make a difference, but again, another 1-run loss today for sure. And another extra inning loss. I don't know, when this team will be good or competitive again, who knows, but I'd love it to, I'd love the opportunity to actually win, especially at home in this California, rules, extra innings that they have. They just seem to struggle. Now I get it. Class A's on the mound in the 10th inning. That's going to be a tough task for anybody, but only giving up 1 run in the top half of that inning, you should have the advantage there. Really, if you're the home team, you should be able to get that run in somehow, some way, by hook or by crook, and tie that game back up again. Wasn't able to get done, so it is what it is with the loss today. But again, I'm more encouraged by the fact that they're gonna probably win 50 games this year.
Well, we've talked about this, that taking the temperature, so to speak, in terms of your fandom, or how you feel, like wash away all the reunion stuff. Although we won't, because we're going to spend a lot of time unpacking this, because it really, you can't avoid it. This is something that actually happened in our life, and it was awesome to see these folks back together. But take the reunion weekend away, and all the other stuff that's happening in this 2025 celebrating 125 and where they're at record wise, and they just lost 3 or 4 to Cleveland. And you're like, well, but it feels different. That's what I keep hearing from people. It's not as embarrassing. We're in these games. You can see that guys there's some life, but still losing is losing.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to play the other side of it, because I'm hearing that from fans too, is who cares if it's close? We're still losing.
Yeah.
And it's ugly and it's depressing and I'm sick about it. And I want it to change. This is what Andrew Benintendi had said after today's finale. He was 3 for 3 today, by the way, Andrew Benintendi.
That's great.
Yeah. So take that for what it's worth. One thing to take away is we're in every game. It seems like we're right there. There's things that we can work on. Obviously, I'm sure we'll think about it over the break and come back ready to play. Look at where we were last year compared to this year. It's a tough game, and you've got to take your wins where you can. Well, I did take a look, Andrew, and after 97 games in 2024, the Sox were 27-70. So there's a 5-game difference. Okay. Does it feel like 5 games, or does it feel like 10 or 15 game difference?
It feels like a lot more to me. It just does. And to think about it, that they won 27 games in the first half last year and were only able to scratch across another, what would that be, 14 wins to get to 41. I mean, that's kind of hard to believe. I mean, that's just, I don't see if there's any way in hell that they would win less than that in the second half. So that's what I guess gives me somewhat hope, is the fact that it was bad last year and it got really bad in the back half. So,
well, after the trade deadline, right? Like, we got rid of some guys,
and
I
get all that, but it does feel different to me. It just feels better again. And we talked about it a few weeks back, Nick. I don't know if it's just I've become used to the losing or whatever, but I still have. I don't get the games on TV. Unfortunately, I'm not in that.
You're not alone. You're not alone. There's a lot of people in your spot.
I was at a birthday party. One of the boys on our travel baseball team, Madden Linko, happy birthday, Mad Dog, was at his birthday party. Game was on TV in the garage. I'm into it. I'm having a good time. I'm rooting. I'm cheering. I care. I'm passionate.
I'm rooting. I'm doing the work. I'm rooting. I'm baby stepping.
I care. Yeah. I do care when I'm able to watch, and
I no doubt. There's no doubt. I know you care. I know you do.
So to say like I'm not gut punched when I do find out that they eventually lost the game. I was thrilled. I was thrilled when I saw because I came home, I didn't see the end, and then I missed the Talkman Squiver walk off that game. But that's it. I'm happy. I love watching highlights the next day. I'll watch how they walked it off. Fun, happy, but no gut punch if they lose. So maybe that's where I'm lacking right now. I don't have that crazy fandom edge that I normally would have. I'm just kind of I guess I've become numb to the losing.
And do you feel okay about that?
I don't know how else to feel, Nick. I don't.
Okay.
Should I be angry at myself? I don't know. I'm not going to torture myself over it. There's not much I can't control it.
It's up to you. It's absolutely how you have to do things. I know what you mean. And I kind of am in there, but I'm starting to get really sick and tired of it. It's starting to really drain me, the losing, and you see some, there are some glimmers, and I think, there's some excitement over the draft that, especially with the first pick, at least I know there's some excitement over what the Sox have done. There's light here and there, but money has to be spent. You cannot expect things to even out or get in your favor by relying once again on the maturation of your young prospects and your farm hands, and thinking, well, we're just going to revolve around this. We're going to hit on these guys, and we're not going to flesh it out with any impactful bats or any anchors on the staff. You have got to spend money, capital infusions. That has to happen. There has to be a nudge moving forward. Now, I get it. There's a lockout looming. I get that we're on the verge of another strike, and maybe that is, there's a lot of reasons why there's not going to be money thrown out by the White Sox, but perhaps that's one of the things that, let's wait for this collective bargaining. Let's wait for the new deal to come through whenever that is, but it could get ugly after the 2026 season.
This is going to sound really odd. Maybe I'm crazy for even thinking it. Is it coming at a good time for us as fans, as you and I? Like if there's a wasted season, is that okay? Can we live with that? Because in '94, that was like a knife to the jugular for me. That killed me.
Yeah.
That stoppage in that year with that team, keeps me up at night still thinking about it.
Yeah.
Now, if there's work stoppage, all right, let's figure all this all. Don't take your time. Easy, guys. Easy. Let's all just relax.
Well,
for everybody.
I hear you. You're making a good point there. For us, for our organization, depending on where we're at, which I don't think we're going to be very good at all in 2026. We're going to lose a lot of games. And I'm sorry if this sounds crass. I don't mean it, man. Hopefully you'll get what I mean. But COVID really hurt that 2020 White Sox team. I feel like we were, that was going to be a really fun year. It still was a fun 60-game season.
Yep.
We wanted much more. I understand the brevity and just the atrocities and the horribleness that was happening. But if you can kind of read through that, and like what I mean is like that was just a bad time. And I know, again, it sounds horrible, but
breaking news: Nick Murawski says 2020 was a bad time.
Look, there's no other way to say it. It was just not convenient
for clicks, aren't you?
That was
out there, and just
that was not convenient. Not convenient for us. It could have not had that happen at that time, but so look. I don't think the 2026 Sox, it's not like they're going to be knocking on the door of anything if a lot of the 2027 season or a good chunk of it is gone. It's just going to mess with a lot. I don't know. It's going to mess with, hey, do we spend money? When should we spend it? It's a lot of games of chicken, perhaps, with ownerships and clubs staring of who's going to make the first move. Are you going to go big now, or are you going to wait for another deal to be put in place?
Yeah. And that'll also be an interesting time too, depending upon how this transition is possibly going from Jerry to Ishbia, and how it could or could not be handled. Again, I know that there's nothing that could clearly happen until 2029, but things do change. There could be some things that happen between now and then. I'm sure there's discussion. I mean, they are part owners, right? So it's how much of a say do the Ishbias have and how you proceed through these types of things. And are you in alignment with, I'm sure you are, as an owner, you're going to stay in alignment with the other owners. But again, is it all, because, in 94, again, I'd have to go back, and because I don't remember how this went down, but Jerry was a big part of the reason why that lockout or that strike happened, right? If memory serves.
Yeah.
And is he going to have as much, does he have as much weight to throw around now as he did then with the other owners in baseball? So, is his voice still as loud as it once was?
Mm-hmm.
And quite frankly, if he's going to be selling it off, how much does he really care if there's a cap, if there isn't a cap, or what other things are going to be collectively bargaining for, coming up before this?
Well, does he speak for Ish?
That's what I don't know.
Does Ish say, hey, wait a second, man, like, you're not even going to be here to see this this deal run out.
Yeah.
I'm the one that should be the proxy. I should be here because I'm the next in line. I'm the one that's going to be kind of suffering or being rewarded, however, where you look at it, with how these numbers line up and what the fine print looks like. You know what I mean? Like, let me be there in the room. I don't know.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting thing to watch and view, but maybe it won't come to that, but it seems like it's headed that way right now. But that's a long way out. There's right now. There's a lot of and by both sides, I'm sure posturing and nobody's giving an inch or seemingly giving an inch now. Nobody's got a lot of leverage, but things seemingly deals get done usually, last 13th hour type of thing. So we got a long road to hoe. There's going to be a lot of, finger pointing and dragging each other.
Groundwork is being laid right now.
Yeah.
There's some foundational stuff, just some heads up, some friendly fire, perhaps some warning signs, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, you see it coming. But trying to live in the present, even though it's not a very good present.
Well, and the game that'll be played, both sides are going to try and throw the other one, in the dirt, and try and vie for the public opinion vote. Not that the vote of the public really matters, but they're going to drag each other through the mud.
What Steve, talking to Steve about some of this today, if the players can unify quickly and get all on the same page and say, we don't mind if we miss games. We don't mind at all.
Yeah.
If they could get, that's what I think could be happening right now, is those early conversations of how to get together as soon as, like, get a unified front on whatever those issues may be. But that's just looking ahead, that's coming. You can't stop what's coming. Hey, the draft though, is here, and you can't stop that. Don't try to stop it. If you don't check out Future Sox, I have no business giving them a plug just because they're good dudes. I like them. They're smart. They follow the prospects, and they put the work in, man. They really put the work in, and they're the go-to, with the draft and what's happening with our farm hands. As everybody most likely knows, the Sox drafted 10th this past year and took Billy Carlson, no relation to Eric Carlson, but that's always fun. They have a surname on your favorite team that you can relate with. A shortstop from Corona, California high school, 10th pick, MLB pipeline number 7 draft prospect, part of a deep and talented shortstop class in the 2025 draft, with 9 of the top 20 draft prospects listed at short. The California high schooler has the best glove of any of them. Carlson is a well above average fielder whose glove received a 70 grade on the 20/80 scale, with his big throwing arm earning an impressive 65. His run tool as well is trending up. Carlson has honed his speed during his prep career. He's a capable hitter, although his swing is more geared toward line drives, massive power. As a senior, Carlson hit .365 with 6 home runs and 34 ribbies in 31 games. I feel like a little bit of kind of Let's Make a Deal or Price is Right, just going through the things you'd be bidding on. This is what you have in store, Sox fans, if you choose to bid on this.
Oh, man, I don't know what to bid. And you're just getting people yelling at you, $1,020, $15.
How do you feel about those people that do the $1, the $1 bid?
Those are people that, they're very savvy. Those people are very savvy. It's like, hey, I know you guys all went over. I'm going $1. Good for you. Capable hitter.
Yeah. Capable hitter. So that's what we need, though. We need more than capable hitter. We need hitters, man.
Yeah.
We need some bats. We need bats.
Can we ever draft someone that is very good hitter, can't miss hitter?
Well, we tried that. That was Andrew Vaughn, and now he's tearing it up in Bratwurst land.
I got to see, with because I have Hulu these days, and I'll just
Yeah.
pop on a random game, and I got to see
Sure.
an Andrew Vaughn play.
How did he look in that Brewers uniform?
He looked fantastic. He had a hit in that game, and he played made a nice play at first against the Dodgers, I believe they were playing against. Yeah, it looked like he knew what he was doing. Good for him.
Good. I think he's got that adrenaline rush, getting off a sinking ship that'll last for a little bit. I think he'll eventually come down to what we saw, but hey, as long as he keeps those Northsiders in check, I'm all for an Andrew Vaughn.
Yeah.
And then the Milwaukee Brewers taking that division. Go ahead, have at it, Andrew Vaughn.
Yes,
Brew Crew, indeed. So Sox, did some more drafting on Sunday, and all the details will materialize in the next few hours. 24 hours, we'll get a better sense, I guess. And bats, though, have got to be the key. I think the Sox have focused on that with another one of their picks. Athletes. That's what I feel like teams are looking for. Guys that can play multiple positions, because maybe they were playing multiple sports. They weren't focused just on baseball in high school or in college. They're athletic. You could switch them maybe to the outfield. Shortstop is never a bad spot. Shortstop can go into different realms, and they're usually extremely athletic. I got to have that bat, though. And does this mean, eventually, I think we're, just thinking down the road long term, is Colson Montgomery a shortstop? Is he a third base? He started off at short when he came up, and then we've seen him at third recently. Saw him at third today on Sunday, and he biffed one. It was a smash hit at him. Game's moving faster these days for Colson Montgomery. He couldn't handle it at third. I saw an error by him at short not too long ago. I don't know what's going to happen with Colson. Do you have any opinion of where you would like to see him play, or you just want an answer for a position?
Well, it used to be, Nick, like a guy with his height that would be like too tall of a guy to
That's a Cal Ripken Jr. height.
Yeah, but like Cal kind of broke that mold, and then A-Rod, came in and kind of smashed that idea to pieces. So, when you look at him, you don't think shortstop right off the bat, maybe in the old sense, but nowadays that's fine. I don't really have a preference for him. If you can solidify yourself in one, we talked about it a lot with Yohan Moncada back in the day, and I hate to bring his name up even, but came in here as a second baseman, and he really thrived at third and found a home there. And it was a hell of a glove man over there, which the rest of his game and his health would have followed suit, but it didn't. So again, it's more of a, if you've got the skills to be somewhere and you're not a complete fit, we've tried the people, let's plug them in here, and then they're fish out of water, and they're just trying to make it work because they don't have any options, right? With a Eloy Jimenez or a Gavin Sheets, putting those guys in the outfield just because you have like a team of 7 DHs and you have no flexibility to move guys around. Yeah. I'm okay trying guys out in this moment to see if they can have an opportunity to, if there is a situation, you have a kid, not that this, this Billy Carlson's going to be up here tomorrow, but if you do have a situation where you've got somebody that's playing short, hey, it'd be great to have them both in the lineup. And if I can move Colson over to third and let him play there more often, it betters our team and it doesn't hurt us defensively. I'm fine with it. Just don't start shoving guys into spots anymore like you have in the past, because you really have no other choice. You have so little athleticism. You've left yourself no choice but to put people in places that, quite frankly, they didn't belong.
Yeah. Good point. Versatility. The Sox have talked about that, not only of how they carry a roster out of spring training, but in terms of, I think, drafting. I nobody wants that. I hope we're done with that era of putting guys, Vaughn out in the outfield, Sheets out in the outfield, moving guys around. it was mentioned here in the chat. Sean mentioned Sosa at first. I mean, I don't see that long term. I hope that's not something but with Elko being hurt now, and Elko hasn't really impressed at all in the small sample size. That again, I'm not trying to get too worried about this stuff, but I mean, one of these days I'd like to just see somebody brought up and just like, boom, they just are on fire.
Yeah.
They're just putting the league on notice. It's like, okay, awesome. You're ready, sir. You're ready for the show. So Colson was 0 for 4. Colson Montgomery 0 for 4 in the finale against Cleveland at the plate. 1 hit in the 4-game Cleveland series. And as JT mentioned here in the chat, glove first shortstop pick makes me worried. I agree with that. Now, I don't know a ton about Carlson, Billy Carlson here, but I get it. To have that versatility at middle infield, that's never a bad move at all. It's a coveted situation, but bats, man, we need bats. Sox don't develop bats. So I don't know. That's the other thing is like, you don't want to ruin a bat. I know it's a bit of a different regime now. Do you trust this regime to develop a bat? Like what happened to Andrew Vaughn? We're going to be talking about that. That was a bat. That was supposed to be a real bat. And that one just was because he was out of position. It was just he couldn't make the adjustments. We didn't set him up for success, a combination of everything. And again, he'll come back down to earth with Milwaukee. But, we've got arms. No more, 3/4 Randy Johnson type lefty. We don't need any more of these arms. We've cornered the market there with those. I need bats. So
yeah, and I agree with JT. Like that does worry you a little bit because, again, when you and I were young, it was shortstops weren't really hitting for power. Your middle infield wasn't your power hitters. Your power hitters were in the corner of the infield and in the corner of the outfield. But nowadays that's not really the case. And when you have a team that is so bereft of any kind of real power, you have to we've talked about it. You have to start drafting power hitters, and you have to. And again, this is unfortunate to say when this team has been so bad defensively over the last several years. But
and this weekend there was no exception, especially on Sunday. Bad defense, bad.
And I'm just like, listen, I don't want to just be I don't want to be beer league softball team, and just we're looking to bash and hit home runs and not be able to defend. But boy, we've got to look for offense first and hope that the people that you draft are above average defensively. But if we're picking guys based on their defensive prowess, that worries me a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. So we'll see how this draft winds up, and we're a few weeks away, 3 weeks away, something like that, from the less than that, I guess, from the trade deadline. What are the Sox going to be giving up? What could they possibly get? July will be a kind of a moving and shaking month, the rest of this month, of what the Sox are intending to do based on what other teams, where are their partners out there. So here's a little bit of numbers before we get into some reunion chatter. Sox are 27 games out of that forgiving AL Central. Sox have the second worst record in all of baseball. Rockies are at 22 wins. So they are, they're on that 2024 pace, I guess, if not worse. So
slightly worse, Nick.
Yeah, it could be worse. We could be talking Colorado Rockies baseball, but the reunion weekend was a long time coming. We heard about it. We knew it was going to be happening. The details started to emerge during Sox Fest. We heard about the statue. We heard about, the festivities. Things just started galvanizing as we got closer to this, the giveaways and all that fun stuff. And, I knew that I was only going to be able to commit my time to one of the three, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, even though it was a 4-game series. I really look at it as kind of the weekend. And I went with Sunday. It was like that's an amazing bobblehead. Got to have that for the collection, and that'll be a nice afternoon game. And we found out that Nancy was going to be back on the organ, and that was wonderful. And before I forget, Pat, I forgot to. Maybe I buried the lead for us. They brought back the old intro on the Jumbotron.
Are you kidding me?
The Pirates of the Caribbean intro. How about that, baby?
Mercy. If I smoked, I might have to go excuse myself and have a cigarette.
I had chills. I saw something on social media that on Saturday they did it because that's when they brought out all the players and everything. And but oh man, they did it on Sunday, and then they played their new one. But that Pirates of the Caribbean intro, why would you ever mess with perfection? If you need to tweak in, clip in La Russa wearing a yellow towel around his head after they won the 2021 division championship, sprinkle in Legend Lurie, his bomb, sprinkle some stuff in to modernize it. But that thing was that was awesome to see that. I've seen it on YouTube since because people have remastered that and have kept it alive. But to see it on that Jumbotron, and then of course Thunderstruck, they did it right. It wasn't the remix Thunderstruck. It was the old school. It was the Thunderstruck that we remember, and that was a good start to the game.
Wow, I'm quite jealous at the moment.
And then the Four Horsemen threw out the first pitch. The guys from the bobblehead, all four of them were there throwing out the first pitch.
I'm very jealous, Nick. I'm very jealous. You did bury the lead.
I knew when that happened, I was like, Pat is gonna. He is going to be upset he missed this. It was an experience.
Oh, well. A Rhino softball win today was well worth the time.
You got to do
beautiful Bradley, Illinois.
Oh yeah, is that Bradley Bourbonos?
Bradley Bourbonos, Kikanki, and all that surrounding beautiful area.
I love it out there, Bradley. Hello. So Sosa hit a couple bombs this past weekend. That was fun to see. Benintendi, I mentioned 3 for 3. Yeah, Sox lost 3 of 4, but it was about getting the old gang back together. It started off on Friday. They had the doubleheader because of the rain out on Thursday, and you got the Burley statue unveil on the second game on Friday. What did you think of the statue? What did you think of the position, the how they sculpted it? What were your initial impressions?
Initially, and this is coming from a fat guy, I thought his face looked a little puffy.
It did. And on closer inspection today, it does look like he's really kind of like a puffer fish, man. He is really holding his breath, and like the jowls, like a bullfrog, are all puffed out. You're all puffed up. You're all puffed up like a pirate.
If you ever if somebody ever comes to you and says, Nick, we're thinking of commissioning a statue of Pat, can you help us with it? Please let them take some liberties with my features. And you can carve things, just a little slimmer is all I'd ask for. Maybe a little more chiseled jaw. Make me look better than I do in real life. Don't make me look worse than I do in real life. Now the worst, who was it from the Miami Heat player, local kid,
Dwayne Wade.
Dwayne Wade. Did you see Dwayne Wade's statue?
I did. Yeah.
Holy cow! That was an atrocity. But that's what was my initial thoughts. I mean, it was cool, like the in motion pitching, all that stuff.
He went into the lab for this. Like, he had to go to the sculptor's studio and he put the jersey on. Did you see some of that video?
I did see some of that. They're doing
of how it was done.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. So I can assume, like, with technology and the way the camera, like, that must have been his face when he was in mid pitch like that. But
I guess I guess, but man, I would have.
Matthew says, I've heard photographs adding 10 pounds, but never statues. Maybe it's.
I hope I never have a statue. Let's just pray.
The clay. I don't know. It was a thick clay.
Whatever they were. It's a thick clay. It reminds me of in Batman, and the plastic surgeon tells Jack Napier, these are the tools I have to work with here.
Mirror. Maybe that was just Burley. Just mirror, please.
You see what I have to work with here.
Yeah, but hey, man, what an honor and good to have him and his family out. He is out there in right field near Harold Baines, took a picture with the statue. There was a nice line developing as soon as I got into the stadium. Attendance for the Burley statue game. You want to take a guess, Pat? This was game 2.
I'll
Friday
say
night.
Friday night game 2. I'll
Burley
say
statue unveiled.
23,105.
Wow, a little bit over that. 25,084.
Okay.
So a little low. I'll be honest with you. All these lower than I expected for reunion weekend on a pretty beautiful summer weekend. Low for that, but okay, great to have that statue out there and all the players that showed up early. Saturday, you had the reunion ceremony. Now, I wish I could have been there all weekend long. I had to make a decision, and I chose Sunday, so I don't really have a leg to stand on because I wasn't there. Okay, but I watched it in the evening. On YouTube, the whole clipped package was put together by Chicago Sports Network, and watched that whole thing start to finish, led by Gene Honda, Mean Gene, Gene Honda, and I thought it was pretty sparse, the crowd.
Yeah.
The lower bowl, I was kind of embarrassed as they were calling these guys out and these legends, the greatest ensemble that we have to show for our franchise right now. Man, where is everybody? And I talked about it with Tony and with Steve from Sox on Tap when I ran into them. And Tony was definitely there on Saturday. And he said, well, he agreed that it was an embarrassing show. There were just seats everywhere. It was empty. He thought maybe the Sox did a poor job at advertising when this ceremony was actually going to take place, like when you should be in your seats. He said he saw just endless tailgates going on, kind of like it's a beautiful Saturday. I'm not going in to pay tribute to this team. I'm just going to sit back and have my tailgate. I'll catch it later. And Steve, I love what Steve goes, you can tailgate any day. You can tailgate any game. This is the 05 reunion, and Tony's mentioned there was a lot of people by the statue still. It was a very hot, sunny, humid day. People were in the shade watching from the concourse. They didn't really want to be in their seats yet. So I understand, but it looked sparse. But wow, was it awesome seeing all those players roll back. No Rowan. I heard Aaron Rowan was at a wedding, perhaps, that was planned. Willie Harris is the third base coach of the Cubs, so he had business to attend to. No Frank Thomas, Pat. No Big Hurt.
That's interesting. I mean, when you think of Frank and that season, he only played 18, I think, games, if memory serves me correctly, and he had somewhat of an impact. But, you don't really think of Frank. I mean, he didn't have an at-bat in the World Series. He didn't have an at-bat in the playoffs, World Series, obviously on the bench, and they're, quote-unquote, in spirit. But he should have probably still been there if he could have.
He's mentioned he's gone on record, and good notice, Sydney too. No Don Cooper, which I think he's still extremely salty. But you'd think of anybody for the Four Horsemen for this bobblehead. Yeah. Oh man, if he was at least a little bit better with the organization, man, he would have been there. I bet you it burns him that it wasn't. But Frank has talked so often about thank you to that team for like dragging my butt across the finish line to get my ring. And, me, I got my ring. That team helped out. Like, well, come back, man. Where
Yeah.
were you? Come back. And unless there was, obviously, some major commitment, but I don't know. It was weird not seeing him, but he didn't have a huge part, and maybe he just didn't. It wasn't going to be about him. It was going to be about Burley and a lot of these other guys. So I don't know, but how about Hawk though? Oh,
he did.
boy.
He doesn't look good.
No. Oh no.
Yeah.
I had a little lump in my throat when they panned to him. No mention of him prior to the reunion. We didn't know if he was going to be there. Was he going to maybe get on the mic? Was he going to be with Chuck for a little bit? Was he going to get in the booth? Were they going to talk to him, wax on about some stories? I didn't hear anything. And then, like, without any mention, they're panning from Rooney to DJ, and then, like, eventually there's just Hawk, which is so anti-Hawk. What a big personality, what a big presence. And he's just there in the back row, kind of quiet, and a good ovation for him when they mentioned his name. And he needed some help getting up and getting down. He is struggling, I think. And I just sad to see that. But I'm glad he was there. I'm glad they were able to get him there.
That was good to see. Yeah, I thought the same thing. It's like, oh boy, Buckaroo. Mother Nature is undefeated, as they say, or Father Time, or whatever the old saying is. So
I think both are.
Both are
team
both
right there.
Both are
The tag team. That is that is up there with like typhoon and earthquake from the old WWF days. The natural disasters, man. Father Time and Mother Nature. Boy,
man, that is quite a thought. The natural disasters. God bless you for always bringing up great wrestling tag teams. That was something, and also the emotional part, the tribute they played for Bobby Jenks was
absolutely.
Like,
and Farmer,
and Farmer,
and they got all shout outs, rightly so. But yeah, you're right, Pat. That was, Ozzy, you could tell, was very, very moved. Anytime Bobby was shown on the Jumbotron and talked about, Ozzy did a toast. And wow, yeah. There was out in left field, there was a huge Bobby Jenks banner that fans were able to sign with just a wish, whatever. Maybe it's going to be handed to the family before you were able to take a picture with the World Series trophy today. It's, I don't want to talk. It's really sad because I know he was in really rough shape and he was trying, man. He was fighting. Fighting, but you hear about these stories of like sometimes, a positive moment or seeing old friends or something just catapult somebody's health, and it just wasn't meant to be. And I have spent time thinking about like, what if it could have been though? What if he could have got to this reunion weekend and just, it's just, hey, he was remembered. He will always be remembered. He will live on forever in White Sox fandom. And, but it was a moving, I was brought to tears a couple times. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
I got choked up. I had some tears watching that. Just roll out all the players and all the memories flash back at. So
yeah, those are fun. And the sad part for me is and I didn't just watch it live. I watched it on YouTube. Is thinking about this is the 20-year reunion anniversary. Will we see the 30-year before we see another World Series, Nick? Because they're going to keep doing these reunions. They're going to keep remembering this team, and rightfully so. Will we see in the next 10 years this team win again?
Just to stop all of this, I'm going to say, yes, we'll see a World Series. We'll still always remember the 2005 team, but I think there'll be a new team that we get to. I think with everything that's maybe on the forefront with this organization, I just want to believe that. I want to, because if you don't, If I say no, then I'm going to go to some dark places, and I don't want to do that.
I don't want you to go to dark places either, but
I don't want to do that. Oh, by the way, attendance. What is your guess for the reunion game? They honored the 05 team on the field on a beautiful Saturday afternoon, and the Burley statue was given away, a replica. What do you think the attendance was for Saturday's game?
For Saturday's game, I will say 22,402.
Wow, you are really close, Pat. Under, which is disgusting. 21,780. I was floored when I saw that number. Again, I couldn't help. I didn't contribute, so I can't really say too much, but
yeah,
that was a low number on Saturday.
I would say so. Yeah.
So Sunday comes around, you got the bobblehead, which I showed. Again, Howard, you came a little late, but great meeting you in line. Great talking with you. Bobblehead, that was a pretty good showing. That line was stacked. That was of all these Sunday giveaway bobbleheads, this was the most intense line.
Okay.
But Eric and I handled our business perfectly. I explained the situation and set us up for success. So we were like 7th in line. No big deal. We're good. All right. And
you two working together in tandem, that's
nothing stopping us.
Scary thing.
Nothing stopping us. So got to see the trophy, got to, check out the statue, and Nancy on the keys. Eric worked his connections, got to say hello and check in with Nancy after the game. She's busy, man. The line to see Nancy Faust after the game and get a picture and an autograph. Oh boy, that's a line, man. And rightfully so. She's a living legend.
Yeah.
So that was good to see her and her wonderful husband Joe. And it was aside from the game, which was just irritating. It was nice. It was nice to live down these memories. What do you think the attendance for this bobblehead on Sunday was?
I will go on the high end this time, which I'll be wrong because I haven't been right. I will go.
You're close though.
26,754.
Under, but still very close. 24,680. So I couldn't believe any of these games didn't hit 30. I thought for sure the attendance on Saturday would have at least been 30,000. Beautiful July weekend. It's the city of big shoulders, city of Chicago. A lot of stuff going on, I get, but man, that's what I think it comes down to. The team is just awful. People are sick of it. They're just upset. And even though you're rolling out a beautiful reunion weekend, the team is garbage. And there's a lot of upset, angry people like, you know what? It's not worth my time. I'll watch it on TV.
Yeah. I'll catch everything I want to see with my Heroes of 2005 in the documentary that's on YouTube. With the last episode coming out this coming week. Yeah. And I can watch all the reunion stuff I want from the comfort of my own home. And I don't have to spend or give any money to Jerry.
Yeah, I think that's ultimately that proved to me, seeing what I saw and looking at the attendance numbers and talking to a bunch of people. That's what it boils down to, that frame of mind, I think. And when you have accessibility to all of that, and you don't have to be there in person. Yeah. You don't have to set up a DVR, VCR, holy moly, all this other stuff. You've got access to all of this. I don't need to go to the game. I mean, the diehards, if you can do it, if you can swing it financially, time-wise, you're like, you're going to make that a commitment in your life, they'll show up, But it was nice to be there on Sunday. And again, a good time was had with Eric and meeting so many awesome people that are so gracious and that support the podcast and that are wonderful Sox fans. And it really meant a ton. I can't articulate it. I can't do a good job of, like, you and I, we love doing this. We love talking to each other. We love talking Sox, but to be able to rub shoulders with other people and connect with like-minded Sox fans and the pouring out of just appreciation, it means something. It really does. And I valued the folks that took their time to stop and talk. It was wonderful.
Well, I wish I could have been, because I know you'd asked me originally to attend this game with both of you guys. I wish I was able to do that. But it is what it is. I guess I'll catch the 30-year reunion.
Hopefully there's another World Series that,
I hopefully Carl Everett fits into a jersey at that point.
Carl. Oh boy.
I mean, I'm
Carl
not
and Juan Uribe,
a couple of Juan Uribe, holy moly. I mean,
he's thick. He got thick. Yeah. But hey, it happens, man. That's Father Time, Mother Nature, natural disasters, undefeated. That whole, just imagine being in a battle royale with Father Time and Mother Nature, typhoon, earthquake,
and Carl Everett.
Carl Everett. I'd take Carl Everett. I would take Carl Everett. Getting out of that Akeem. Carl Everett would make his way on top of that, out of that pile. I guarantee you.
God.
Yeah. So Eric and I were going down memory lane, and we were talking about, and you probably maybe watched in similar circles, but I remember being at your parents' basement for, was it game 1 or game 2 of the World Series? That I can't. We were so excited, and so it must have been the walk-off, the Scotty walk-off, game 2. Yeah. In your parents' basement, you had a big gathering of people. And then game 3, you and I went down. We went by UIC. I think it was Bar Louie over there, and that was the 14 inning, the marathon game, and we were at that bar watching for maybe 11 or 12 innings, and then we gotta be at work. We got stuff we got to do the next day, and we were on the Stevenson heading back to the Burbs, and that's when we heard the Jeff Blum home run. And I remember you on the horn, just laying on the horn on 55.
When you're leaving a bar late at night, you shouldn't be drawing attention to yourself. Not the best of ideas, but it all's well that ends well, and nothing happened. But maybe don't be screaming out the window, honking the horn, and probably screaming obscenities. Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Just that was awesome. And then game 4, I was with my parents and my brother, I think Josh, I remember exactly where I was sitting. I was sitting in a recliner and just on the edge of my seat with this weird feeling, Pat. I don't know if you can relate to this. Maybe you felt it, maybe you didn't. I kind of don't want this to end. I know this sounds like kind of sadistic and strange, but maybe they lose this game and we win it in 5. I just didn't want it to end. I didn't want that season to end. It was so fun, and it was almost gone so quickly, going 11-1 in the postseason. But you don't want to let the Houston Astros in at all. You don't want to give them any hope. And just what a celebration. Where were you for game 4?
I was with Eric that night. We were
there you go.
Friends of ours.
There you go.
Lunch. Set up shop in his garage. Had a great setup, great meal, and we pretended like we had won the World Series ourselves. We were spraying champagne on each other, smoking. I mean, there was so much cigar smoke at the end of the night when you opened the garage door. It just
dear Lord,
bellowed out like backdraft. It was amazing, and it was a wonderful night. You ever have a smoky? Like the sausages, the Smokies. Oh, they're wonderful.
I've had a few hundred. Yeah.
Minerva, that was great. That was my memory. Again, I'll always say my biggest regret is not watching game 4 with my dad.
You've said that before.
I'm hoping that there's another opportunity for us to watch a World Series winner together sometime soon. But you don't know. You don't know that's going to be the last game. I didn't know but if I could go back, and I had a wonderful night. It was a great experience, and and again, I watched the first 2 games of that World Series with with him, and as you mentioned, and my now wife, we were just getting together. That was her first experience with me, a crazy White Sox fan. I'm surprised that
Hey, honey, can you tell us a little bit about your new boyfriend? I don't know. He loves little Smokies. He just engulfs them. He's eating them by the poundage.
He's been drunk for a month. And we'll be celebrating 16 years. 16 years together, my wife and I. 20 years together, 16 years married at the end of this week.
Where was your new boyfriend at for the final out? He was in a garage with the garage door closed with some guy named Plunge, smoking cigars and eating little Smokies for hours, and spraying each other with champagne. Oh, all right, that probably won't last.
And what does this gentleman do for a living? Oh, he works at a bowling alley. Oh boy, I hope it works out well for you.
Well, it did, and look at you guys, what a family you've created, and
look at us 20 years later. It's amazing.
Yeah, it really is amazing. You are more tuned into the Chicago Bears than I am. Will you see a Bears Super Bowl before the next White Sox World Series?
I would, based just on the talent difference with the two organizations, I'll say yes to a Bears Super Bowl before the next World Series. But
okay.
They happen so few and far between for both teams, Nick. I can't say that with any sort of confidence.
Yeah. One of the biggest regrets that I have about the whole World Series thing, I did not go to the parade, and one of the things that I regret a lot, but I was in a situation with like days off, being kind of new at the company, and I made a choice on which day. I told my boss, who was really understanding, and he knew how big of a Sox fan I was. I said, whenever they win, I just know I'm not coming in the next day, because
no.
How about that? How about that type of relationship?
I won't be like calling you. I won't be putting it in some sort of system, requesting the time off. Just no, I won't be here.
No, I won't be here. But my thinking was, I wanted to go to, I think it wasn't Sport Mart. It was Sports Authority, because it wasn't a Dick's Sporting Goods. It was a Sports Authority in Orland Park. I wanted to go there for the championship gear to come right off the truck, man.
Yeah.
I wanted the shirts. I wanted the hats. I wanted all the gear. And I'm like, I know what's going to happen the next day. They've got this stuff ready to go. I'm taking the day off. I'm going in line and waiting. And my dad and I went, and boy, oh boy, was it a line. But it was amazing. They had it all lined up. Shirts, championship sweatshirts. You need a hat. You need this. You need gloves. I'm like, yeah, just yes, please. And so that was the day off. I earned that day off to get all the championship gear and everything. And so then I couldn't use the day off for the parade, but that was kind of my situation.
I have never been I mean, the parade, you look at it on TV, and it looks amazing, right? And you see the clips from so many years ago. I don't know, I've never been to a championship parade before, or any of the Bulls rallies, so I don't know what I'm missing. But all I know is, like, you watch something go by, and if you're not by the stage where they do the rally, I mean, I don't know.
That's true. I went to the 2013 Blackhawks parade, and I went with my brother and my aunt and uncle, and I think my cousin Brandon was there, and we lined up on Michigan Avenue, just south, I think, of the Art Institute. So when we were there I felt like hours, and the stage, the huge gathering and everything, was down by the Blackhawks store. So what is that, Michigan and Wacker? So we got to see a bus. We got to see a lot of the buses, actually. They made a left on Michigan and went north to go towards the stage. We were right there, man. We got to see all the guys, celebrating on the buses. And and you could kind of hear the speeches. But I think honestly, when all the buses left us, we might have went to a bar or something to watch the rest of it on a TV. But you're kind of right. It's more of just like I was there. I got to be there and experience it. That was the only one. I never went to Grant Park for the Bulls rallies or anything. That was the only Hawks one I went to.
Yeah. I'm not saying I wouldn't go. I've just never been like, okay, I got to go to the parade. That is something that I can view from the comfort of my own home.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of knowing my person, I would have been there. I should have been there, but I also like stuff. I like things.
I also like to take time off of work to go buy lots of White Sox stuff.
So I was a bit torn, but
just know I won't be here.
I will not be here. So there you go, man. That was the reunion weekend. Appreciate everybody, checking in and being with us here on this Sunday night. It is always just a pleasure connecting with other Sox fans. Pass this podcast along. Before we get to the quote of the week, I do want to just say, Locked On Sox, Todd had me back, and I know he had a bunch of other folks back for this week. Fill in some time since it's the All-Star break. And it's really, we're talking 05 Sox. We're talking the World Series team. I don't know what day I'm going to be on when but if you still check in on Locked On Sox, I'll be making a return on the podcast. So, and it's he's doing a great job. So give that a listen. Matthew, great seeing you, buddy. Thank you so much. And Matthew was at the parade. I'm jealous. I'm jealous of the folks that were at the parade. I really am. But I got to move on.
You do have to move on, but you still have a lot of great gear that you can pull out of the closet and wear.
This hat right here. This was a Sports Authority standing in line for 3 hours. Got this hat.
I got that hat, and I didn't have to take a day off of work and wait for 3 hours for it.
Yeah, but you don't have a cool story. So.
I don't have a story, Nick. Yeah. That's exactly right.
Yeah. There you have it. Pat, home run derby, all-star game. Go Shane Smith. He's our only rep from the South Side. How about that? Mr. Rule 5 draft. Shane Smith, root him on. Again, thank you so much to everybody, Pat. Always a pleasure. I'm feeling better. I'm feeling good despite the 3 out of 4 losses. For me and what a lot of people, I think, and how you relate to this 125 year, this nostalgia year. It was nice to have this, not closure, but just like this check-in, this 20th anniversary check-in.
Loved it. To me, it's always fun to go down memory lane. And, for me, it's cool to talk to my kids about it. Okay, there's that guy. This is why that was important. This is what this guy did in this moment. Watch this amazing play. It's, that's what's fun for me, is to share that with my kids.
Yeah, definitely. Here is your quote of the week from Will Venable, talking about the first half for his fighting Chicago White Sox. Just the competitive spirit and really coming every day to work and compete and play hard has been something that through some tough stretches we've continued to do. Been really proud of the group as they've really connected and built something within the clubhouse that they go out and are proud of every day they go out on the field. That was a real quote by a real manager. And I read it for you there.
You're not giving Will Venable a hard time, are we? We're not.
I am. No, I can't. I got nothing against Will Venable right now. I've got no axe to grind. Right, he's just there, man. He's trying. He seems to be well liked. There's nothing that he can do right now.
All right. Well, good. Well, good for. I'm glad that everybody's having a good time in the clubhouse.
Right. Pat, let's try to do this again next week if you want.
Yeah, let's do it, dude.
Okay. Excellent. Sounds good, folks. You can find the podcast everywhere you find your podcast. Subscribe to the Good Guys Talk Back YouTube channel. We're on Twitter X at Good Guys TB. Hey, for Pat Hester, I am Nick Murawski. Until next time, go Sox.